Prem Kumar is going to speak to us about how artificial intelligence and augmented reality can be used in the day-to-day activities of elders, seniors. I don't believe it, but we'll find out. Prem's a technology innovator working at the intersection of artificial intelligence and immersive technologies. His company builds software for both augmented reality and virtual reality glasses. That's these things you put on your, not drinking glasses, the ones you put on your eyes, with a focus on practical real-world applications that enhance everyday life. So Prem will explore how AI, AR and VR can support older adults, from improving accessibility and independence to enhancing communication and cognitive assistance, and will share practical examples of immersive technologies in action and discuss how Australia can participate in the next wave of human-centred computing. This talk's designed for technologists, community members, and anyone curious about how emerging technologies can serve social good. The latter, I think, includes all of us. So, Prem, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. I want to start this whole chat with a demo. So I'll just explain to you what it is. This is a skeletal system. Oh, yeah. So this is the example of a augmented reality. So you can talk to it, you can interact with it, etc. So double tap, it will tell you things, what it is.
Oh, okay.
Right? You can take the skeletal parts one by one out and reassemble the whole body.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You have taken the whole skull of the person out.
Sorry, throw back your head. Here we go.
Right? And double tap on it, it will explode into... You've just opened the skull.
Oh, that's messy. Okay. Wow.
Right? Say...
Nothing inside.
Right? So imagine this, right? Say when they do the MRI scans or when they do the X-rays, etc. When doctors can project these models, whatever your MRI scans or X-rays on actual body parts, and there's an AI which is doing the diagnosis, saying, okay, this person has an hairline fracture, or this person has a level 1 fracture, those kind of things, right? And helps the doctors in diagnosis and all those things. That's where the AR is being used in a lot of industries there. It is more of a guidance mechanism to help people. And that's a small demonstration of AR.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to start this because to give a feel of what is AR and VR, although I'm going to explain it to him, explain to everyone. So what is AR? So when you think about like a real life, let's say this room, right? And if I can bring in characters of a lot of, let's say, Donald Trump, who is the most talked about person today, right? Into this room and ask him to make him give a speech, right? That's AR. When we bring characters from the artificial world into a reality, that's considered to be AR. And practically you can do it with your phone, or now with the advanced technologies, there are AR glasses which looks like the glasses, power glasses what you wear, where you can bring these things in. And my company, we are building solutions where we can use that technology and that glasses to work on everyday activities. And what is VR? You have that big bulky glasses which you wear, and it takes you into an all new world. Let's say, for example, you want to look at the Eiffel Tower, sitting in that chair, right? Wear the VR glasses and click on that module. It will automatically transform you into the Paris in front of the Eiffel Tower, where you can actually walk towards it, look around how the whole thing looks like, etc. Right? So when we transform you into an altogether new realm, that's VR. And when we bring the realm into the real world, that's AR. That's the basic difference between augmented reality and virtual reality. Right? Say, where does this technology fit in? So where does this technology fit in? We're talking about AI, AR, VR, right? Say one of the biggest things what we believe is this technology should make the life simple, not complicated, right? It should make all of us independent and should make us feel safer and dignified. And that's where this technology, if used properly, will help in our elders, right? It can help them in, let's say, making them remember their medication, or showing them routes where they have to get to the place, or making them remember certain important dates in their life, or talk about the events, or bring back the memory. Say, for example, we are building an app where when you scan a photo, you can actually bring back the video of what happened behind that photo into it. Let's say, for example, my daughter's first birthday, right? You will hang photos in the wall, right? When you open your phone camera and look at that through the phone camera, automatically the birthday video will play. That helps you in retaining those memories, right? So we specialize on embedding technology into everyday life, and that's what we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about lots of global cases where they have embedded this technology into real life to assist in day-to-day activities. Like I brought in examples from Japan. We're going to talk about examples how it is used in US, etc. You can stop me and ask me questions wherever you want, or if you want to park the questions to the end and ask me at the end, that's fine too, right? So let's talk about the most buzzword, artificial intelligence. So how does that help in our context, right? Any technology is only relevant if it can help us in our day-to-day activities, if it gets embedded into our day-to-day activities, just like your mobile phone, right? You can't find anybody today without a mobile phone. And that's how AI should be, right? And in our context, how does that work, right? AI basically helps in learning patterns of our work activities, right? It helps in identifying as being a tool to identify changes. Say, for example, one of the projects we did is when you talk to a doctor, right? There is a voice over AI which identifies changes in your voice, and it looks at what sort of disease it is. Because there is a study which happened in US where they say your voice changes when you have different kinds of things. And we are building an AI for an organization in US where a doctor, through the voice, he's trying to identify what sort of disease a person has, whether it is a flu, those kind of things, right? Because it looks at the patterns and the basic way you spell words, and it identifies the differences between how a word is spelled or you say a word when you have different kinds of diseases. And there is a theory and data which supports this, and that AI goes through that algorithm and it predicts that disease, right? So there are some interesting concepts which is being used around the world where the AI is being used to assist people. It identifies, let's say, for example, there is a study which talks about there is an AI which monitors the human behavior and starts to talk about when this person is going to, let's say, the behavior pattern changes, or when this person needs help, right? Those are some of the things what AI does. It notices irregular routines and it predicts, or it gives notifications to the relevant people saying, we are notifying, seeing an irregular routine of this person. There might be something which underlying cause which we would want to investigate. That's a notification to primary carers saying, okay, go ahead, look at that and ask the question why. So it's more like the AI is being used to ask the questions why this is happening. Then a conversation is built saying, okay, this is the reason it happened, right? Or I'm feeling dizzy. That's why I had this type of irregular movement. Or I didn't eat, I was feeling so hungry, I didn't eat enough. That's why I was feeling dizzy. So basically the root cause analysis process begins, but it all starts with a notification. And that's what AI does. So it detects mobility challenges. Let's say, for example, you will have to get to, say someone has to get from place A to place B, right? The AI can help them identify what is the fastest route to get to it. How much will it cost? So that you can look at those kind of things, etc. So that's where, in the context of elders, the AI gets used globally, right? And it also simplifies decision making. See, we have loads of experience, right? But what at some point, what it has to help us is has to simplify the decision making for us, so that we don't have to use all the experience what we have got, right? And that's what AI does. Say, I know a person who actually built his version of all the speeches what he has done throughout the year into one AI, and he converted it into a mentor, right? And there is a site where you go ask for a specific situation, that AI mentor will tell you how did that person handle, and what is the speech he gave for that sequence, right? So the knowledge what you have, you can collate it all into one repository and then convert it into a digital you to guide the young generation, right? Say, I see a load of knowledge in front of me, right? If everything gets combined, it's a huge wealth of knowledge which can help the youth community, right? We don't have to tumble on the same things what our elders tumbled on. We want to do good things what you guys have done and repeatedly do it. That's where the AI context helps. Say, let's talk about, we spoke about AI. Let's talk about AR, right? I give you a demonstration, and I also gave you a medical use case, right? AR cannot be a cure, but it can assist a lot of clinicians, doctors in identifying a cure or prompting a cure or helping them in, let's say, for example, in Brazil, I'll give you an example. They built a virtual reality module to do a heart surgery. The surgeons practiced it at least 20 to 30 times before they went inside the surgery, and they successfully demonstrated separation of a co-joint twins. All they did, they built a similar kind of operation module in virtual reality. It's a multiplayer module, like Kirsten can be a surgeon, I can be a surgeon, etc. And they will all be inside a room. They will practice the co-joint operation, the heart operation of a co-joint twins repeatedly, identified various error scenarios, and then they rectified all those things. They had a plan to plan for all those emergency scenarios. When that happened in real time, just because they have practiced, they knew what to do, they did it, and they successfully did that operation. And there is an article how they practiced it. So that's where virtual reality and augmented reality are being used to ensure that it assists in our life moving forward. Right? Say,
So they do that wearing glasses?
correct.
Oh.
Correct. So they practice it wearing the glasses, but now the technology has advanced so much in this 10 years, you practically don't need, so basically a virtual reality glasses comes with 2 controllers, right? Now you can do away with those controllers and use your bare hands, right? We are now building modules for medical colleges and medical institutions where 30 students can practice dental surgery or kidney transplant surgery, liver transplant surgery on a cadaver inside a virtual reality room. So they can collaborate, they can talk to each other, they can dissect different ways, they can practice different scenarios. If they dissect too much, what happens? If they dissect at the length, what happens? So there is wearing the glasses. Yeah. Right? And this is where the major difference which happens in AR. Because you're not wearing a bulky glass, you're going to wear glasses like what the everyday spectacles what you're wearing, right? So that means, let's say you're walking to a place. How about your glass, part of the glass shows you the way how you have to walk to a place, right? That's what the AR glasses now does. That's the advancement of the technology. And practically speaking, every company, Samsung, Meta, Xreal, all are jumping into this space because that's the market which is growing. Right? Say, I know a company in India recently, they built their own indigenous glasses. So literally every country is jumping into this race because that's the next generation thing, AR glasses. And we are building solutions for industries, medicine, etc. using these AR glasses. Okay, you can ask me the question, why not a conventional mobile app? Or why do you have to use AR? Right? Say, I can see the same video of how to put a medication in through a video when I open the app. Why do I need a AR? Right? Say, for example, what happens in an AR is simple. You have a medication box. The glasses, through the glasses, it can actually overlay on the medication box saying, instead of the label saying Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And when you want to know how many tablets to put it, you can start the interaction right away by looking at the box itself, so that you don't need to look at another aid. Look at this, then look at this, look at this. It gets embedded onto the straight one. Actual thing. That's where AR helps you in easing the whole process. Right. So I was talking to you about the medication management, right? This is actually a globally used use case where they are using AI and AR for medication management of elders. Right? They look at you have the smart pill dispensers, right, in US and Europe, where there's like you put the number of things per day the pills will get dispensed. It is embedded with AI to understand the patterns where someone is overdosing or whether they are taking it less or they have not come to take the doses, etc. And notification goes to relevant social workers and other stakeholders to understand this person needs help. Right? The other use case is like voice assistance. Say these glasses, AR glasses comes with a mic embedded into it. That means we can have your favorite person talking to you and talking to you about why you should take dosages. Or you can converse with them, talk to about how you are feeling, etc. And when they detect unusual behavior patterns, it sends a notification to the relevant social worker or primary carer saying, this person is feeling lonely. Maybe you want to spend some time with him. Right? Then it also used for apps to confirm medication intake. That is whether this person has taken the medication, how much it has been taken, to predict the patterns. This is a globally used use case. There's a lot of research which is being done in this space to identify behavior patterns, to identify when a person does that, etc., to predict the entire medication mechanism. So, okay, I'll give you a scenario. Good question. So, let's say you look at the medication box. Thank you. So, let's say you're wearing the glasses. It gets you look at the medication dispenser box and it says you need to take 2 tablets in the day, right? It is embedded with AI, which monitors what you're doing as well. So, if you're taking 2 tablets, it's going to say, okay, 2 tablets has been taken, and it understands that you've taken it. Right? If you're taking 3 tablets, then it's going to give you a prompt saying you need to take 2, you're taking 3.
Sorry, Prem,
Yeah.
can I ask you,
Sure.
how do you motivate the person to wear the glasses? I mean...
Good question. Say, there are 2 to 3 things, right? Say, that's why they are making the glasses as similar to the glasses what you're wearing. Right? So that means you're anyway, if I'm somebody who's going to wear the glasses, that means I don't have to do anything different. It's just an add-on or layer on top which I get on top of the glasses what I'm wearing, with basically a glass with a camera and a voice. Right? So specific motivation not needed. That's why there's a lot of effort which is going on to embed and make the glass looks like the everyday wear what we are doing. So that this barrier to entry is broken. So let's say talk about where AI is used in mobility or fall risk monitoring, right? Say we look at AI looks at, let's say for example, a person who has mobility issues, right? When they want to go to a place, it looks at the safe paths for them to follow and reach that place safely, or it notifies when there is dangers coming their way, etc. This is widely used use cases in Japan and in Nordic countries where there's a lot of people above 80 years of age.
So you've got glasses that have got a camera and a microphone and presumably a speaker.
Yeah.
And you can also get a vision display on your glasses.
Correct.
But there's got to be a computer behind all that to make it work. Where does that go?
So basically this is that's why this whole thing, this sequence here, it has a chip which gets connected to a cloud at the back end, or it gets connected to your phone, right? So you can pretty much, whatever you see, let's say I'm seeing YouTube, for example, right? I can push that YouTube notification to the glasses through my phone. So there will be an app in the phone and there will be the glasses, right? Your app in the phone becomes your computer. And it gets connected to the cloud, and there is a web system at the back end to send notifications, etc. It functions like a proper web and mobile app, but a layer on top to make it easier. If that makes sense.
My wife happens to be in aged care, and if she was wearing these glasses, this device, you're sort of suggesting it would know when she's supposed to take medication and whether she has, and would prompt her to do it, or if she doesn't within a certain time, call
Correct.
for help.
Correct.
Is that all?
Correct. Say, just like now you have apps in your phone, right, which says this is a medication time, or your alarms in your phone which says, okay, this is the time where you say have this appointment, right? It's a similar kind of appointment which comes in front of you in your glasses.
Excepting the device itself knows
Correct.
whether you have or you haven't.
Correct. Correct. Say you pick it up, etc. It takes, okay, this person has picked it up and goes into this one, because there is a camera which is monitoring it, right? It comes with a camera which you don't have it in your phone. It's imagine it's similar to like putting your phone in a video mode and putting it in front of you, and you're doing all these things. That means the AI which is analyzing the behavior will tell you whether this person has taken it or not. It's the same case with the glasses.
Amazing.
Right? So that's the entire realm of things what we are entering into. I'm just introducing a lot of use cases so that to kindle your interest. That's it, right? And there is a lot of studies which is being done where AIs are used as companion dog, where AI models with robotics are being used as companion dogs, or you can have voiceovers where you can have the favorite person. Let's say I like J-Lo, right? J-Lo's song. J-Lo can tell me, wish me a good morning every day, or can talk to me, be my companion, etc. Where the AI understands the words which I talk usually and where I talk about it, etc. And understand whether it is able to identify what I'm feeling at this point of time and helps me cheer up or motivates me. A lot of things it happens.
I've just got this image that I'm going to the aged care place to visit my wife, and she says, "Don't interrupt."
You know what I did? I actually built an AI model of my wife and gave her all the catchy texts which she tells me every time. So whenever I do something, it will kind of tell me, "Don't do that." Right. So, and I built a AI bot of my daughter with her exactly a voice and this thing. And that's now we are integrating that to our website. So whoever comes in, my daughter will welcome that person who comes to our website to have a conversation. You can converse with her. We call it Jilla, right? You can converse with her, and she can take you to the various case studies what we have in the website. So a voiceover interaction. And the best part of all these things, since we're talking about voiceover, you can have it in multiple languages. Right? Say it's not confined to English, or it's not confined to any language. You can have it in multiple languages. Let's say, for example, tomorrow you turn up and say, "I want to learn Japanese." An AI companion can actually work with you in learning Japanese. So it keeps it interesting for you so that you look at it and helps you get all those basic loneliness and all those things out of the way. That's the whole intent of it. I realize I've been moving it here, I've not been moving it there. Sorry. All right. So let's say cooking. That's another scenario where AR gets used, because when you wear the glasses, it tells you pour this much amount of water, this thing. Of course, it tells that you need to light the gas before you do all the stuffs. But yeah, so it tells you the whole process, whole recipe, how to do certain kind of things one by one. And most of it is connected to Google internet. So you can look at the recipes around the world. Say today I want to do lasagna. I can actually look at, ask it, talk to it saying I want to do lasagna. It's going to give me the step-by-step process.
I'll give it to you audibly.
Both. And in the language of your choice.
If you're just wearing glasses, like, has that woman got glasses on? I can't tell.
No, she is using iPad.
Oh, okay.
Right, say what I showed you now. So you can use the same iPad in front of you to project the entire thing, or you can use the glasses. Right, whichever you're comfortable with. Right, and I spoke to you about how AR can be used in orientation and wayfinding. That is, let's say, for example, a lot of people would want assistance in if they in Alzheimer's research, etc. They're using a lot of AR in assisting people to make sure that they remember most important things in their life, like way to my home. Right? Say wherever they are, they can talk to the AI. They can talk voice assistants inside the AI and say, okay, I want to find them. I want to go to my home. It helps them find the best possible routes, notifies people saying this person is actually lost and is in this place. This is the GPS coordinates. You might want to pick them up. Right? There is a lot of research which is being done to make this whole process easier. And this is one of the best use cases I have seen, where it helps in wayfinding. Say, if I give you a more relevant example, latest Bunnings app has this wayfinding feature. Right? If you put the aisle in the Bunnings app, it'll tell you, if you put the item, it'll tell you which route to take to that which aisle to find that item. The same concept? Yes, sir. Here's a question.
Thanks. With 3D scanning tools becoming more affordable and accessible, do you foresee that being something that will be able to be integrated into people's homes with AR as well, or do you think?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Yep.
So I bought my 6-year-old the other day here, right? One of the friends here actually taught her how to do the 3D printing, right? And she went back home and said, "Can we integrate this AR into this 3D printing?" So it's becoming really, so whatever you design in this 3D models can be, both are interrelated. So that means the 3D design for 3D printing can be taken into AR and made it into an animated character, or the vice versa. So let's say, for example, I like Pokemon. I can make the Pokemon dance inside AR and bring that out and print it here.
And is there possibilities for, you talk about wayfinding, but what about maybe like a person having a personal inventory of what they have in their home, maybe if they have memory issues?
Of course, yes. Yes. That's why I was talking to you about the Alzheimer research. That's where the orientation and wayfinding as well as the companion all comes in, saying, okay, I'm looking, let's say I forgot my glasses, right? The AI, you can ask the AI, like how you ask Alexa, play this song. Hey Google, play this song, right? You can ask the same kind of thing to this AI saying, oh, hey, can you find me the glasses? He'll tell you last time you kept it there.
Prem, I've just got a note from the chat that it's blurry reading the text there, so I'm so sorry, because I should have told you we need big text. But if we could just perhaps read out what's on the slide there.
Okay, fine. So when we talk about AR orientation, we are talking about navigation prompts inside facilities, well, like how I told you about the Bunnings app, right? Similarly, for an Alzheimer patient, let's say a person wants to find where is a washroom in his home or in a home. The wayfinding can prompt them saying, go this way, go past the kitchen, then there is your washroom, those kind of things, right? Or we can also look at visual room identifiers. Let's say, for example, am I in my room or am I in my grandkids' room? Those kind of things, it can help. and it also gives you directional overlays. That means the arrows where you have to go, like how you look at a Google map, that whole mapping can be done in the visual overlays using AR. Right? These are some of the areas where it helps the adults in reducing anxiety. I need to get to this place. How am I going to get to this place? Is the most important question an Alzheimer patients ask. And that helps them or assists them in getting that one. Right? So it increases their independence and gives them confidence. That's the whole idea behind it. It is not to replicate, not to replace anything what they've been doing in that. It is to encourage them to do that thing more.
You've talked about what's possible.
Yeah.
Are there some examples of where it's actually being applied?
Yeah, all these cases is actually, I'm giving a global examples where it is actually being applied.
Okay.
Right? Say this physical rehabilitation, we ourselves are building a physical fitness app for an Australian company where we are actually talking about what is a guided stretching, what's the proper pose which should be there when you do certain kinds of stretching, and it monitors your real-time exercises and gives you feedback saying you're doing this wrong, this should be the posture. Right? So to help you in a guided physical training process or physical rehabilitation process. So it's becoming like a virtual personal trainers, virtual nutritionists, where it is giving you data every time. So let's say, for example, now one of the AI what we are building is a virtual personal nutritionist. Right? My doctor says I should have a keto meal. You just go plug in saying I need to have a keto meal, and this is the amount of protein I need, this is the amount of carbohydrates you need, etc. Based on what the doctor's recommendation are, it's going to give you a complete meal prep plan for the week and give it to you. Right? So we are using this both for guided stretching as well as for the gym goers. Right? I want to increase my muscle mass, then do this activities. And it also monitors your behavior patterns. Let's say, for example, I keep entering data of you can capture the food what you eat today, and it'll automatically understand what is the calories you have eaten, and it'll automatically get filled into that day's nutrition plan. Right? Let's say, for example, I'm a person who does exercise 3 days a week. It will give you a prompt saying this is the third day, you need to go. Right? So it doesn't let you slack. So these are some of the use cases which my company has built, as well as around the world where we have seen a lot. So across all the things, what the entire thing is to keep the process very simple. And we believe as an organization, if any technology is not integrated into daily routine, it is not worth using the technology. Right? If it is not going to be embedded into your habits, that means that technology is of no use. Right? So all the research around the world, including us, we are building, I spoke to you about the MRI scan and the X-rays project, right? So now we are also working on the speech pathology project, right? Then the multi-user of liver surgery, kidney surgery, those kind of projects. We are also working in the manufacturing space to assist organizations on proper assembling of various things, right? We are working with clients like Mercedes-Benz, etc., to help them in assembling various parts in various things, so that they can diversify manufacturing. So basically, we are taking the way we do it is this way. Any company or any company which does the transformation does this way. We look at the daily activities or the daily processes followed in the organization, or let's say we are applying it to a aged care facility, to a NDIS plan. We look at the daily activities which has been planned. We look at areas where AI can help in easing the whole process, and that's where we implement AI, so that it is integrated into everyday activity what they do. Not they are doing something different. Right? Because we always, when we over-engineer something, it will always be rejected. right? So we don't want to over-engineer it that it changes their daily routine. We just want to add to it. So if I talk to you about where AI makes or AR makes the most difference in medication management. It helps you in your day-to-day maintenance of medication. It takes the data in. It tells you this person is actually taking a proper medication or this person needs help because there is some say barrier for him or her to take the medication, those kind of things. Then it also helps in risk monitoring. Then routine reinforcement. That is, encourages you to follow the routine. And it also helps in cognitive support and daily task simplifications. Yeah.
So can you talk a little about the cognitive support?
All right. Say we spoke about, let's say, for example, cooking, AI for cooking, right? That's an example where you can use cognitive support, where the aids are there to help you go through the whole activities in step by step so that it works for you. Like that, let's say, for example, let's say, for example, an AI companion talks to you about, okay, I'm feeling lonely. Then it talks about, okay, why are you feeling lonely? Did that help you? So it helps you in the relating to what you're feeling and understand more why you're feeling and identify what is it causing. Right? So it's more like a companion kind of thing, which walks with you to ask you relevant questions at the right point of time to help you in that experience. Get that experience what you want. Let's say, for example, you're going to Bunnings, right? It asks you, okay, what are you here for? I want to buy paint. Okay, it's in this aisle. What are you going to paint for? Right? So I'm going to paint my, let's say, my wall. Okay, what is that, an interior wall or an exterior wall? Right? It helps you in the decision-making process. That's one way it helps you in the cognitive support. Yep. Say, yes, sir.
This is a massive thing with an enormous amount of research and effort to produce it. How do you get your money back?
So when we build an AI, when we have more subscribers, that's where we get the money back. It's practically a SaaS model, right? So let's say this room of 20, right? If all of them decide, let's say I'm selling a product, and if all of you subscribe to me at the end of my speech, that means I've made money. Right? So pretty much it is more like a daily subscription. The subscription is what runs these applications, what we are building, and that's how the money is made.
Would you tell me how the full risk monitoring works?
Okay, let's say, for example, fall risk monitoring is like, say, for example, I want to go from place A to place B, right? So I'm just giving an example of a person where I have mobility issues. Right? It will give me the safest route to go from place A to place B. Let's say this place has a ramp. Go through this ramp. Don't go to this place through this route because there's no ramps available. Right? So that's an example. Yeah. I've got 2 more slides and that's it. Yeah. Right? Say a bit of marketing for us. This slide. So where we sit in, right? We as a company, we focus on human-centered AI systems where we understand behaviors of the customers and build systems which help them support it. Let's say, for example, we built a fire safety module for a hospital in Singapore, right? But what they use it for now with a behavioral analytics AI in it. So let's say, for example, if they are recruiting somebody and if they want to make them an emergency responder, they will put them through this virtual reality fire safety module, which will also understand their behavior, how they react to certain scenarios, right? What is their decision-making process? Let's say, for example, our whole ward is in fire, right? What's the first thing you do? throw them into those kind of scenarios inside the module itself, which is like, first time when you try it might be a different scenario, second time it might be trying, it'll be a different scenario, those kind of things, to understand how they react to certain situations and qualify them as an emergency responder. We're using similar kind of human-centered AIs in banks, where, the service desk where they do the triaging. So that person can have different kinds of experience. Say, sometimes it might be like, I want to open an account. I've been scammed. That person is going to be agitated, etc. So they need to be empathetic, and they also have to follow the processes. So we have built systems or AIs which uses augmented reality or virtual reality plus AI chatbots or agents to give them the feel of these kind of scenarios and prepare them for the real life situations. So more of human-centered AI systems is what we have built to prepare people to ensure the day-to-day activities are done. Right? And we have built AR-assisted daily tools to assist a lot of industries in their day-to-day works. Nothing is secure, nothing is good if it's not secure, right? So we specialize on cryptography, and we have built our own unique cryptographic solution, which is like 16-layered cryptographic solution, which sits on top of the existing cryptographic level to ensure that the whole end-to-end security is there. And we also make sure that design is very simple and it's not complicated, and it can be used by anybody. Right? So that's what NextXR focuses on. So some of the values where we have built is like, we want to build a community which is self-reliant and independent. That's one of the values on which we built our organization on. And we want to make the innovation accessible. Nothing is, if it's too costly, people won't even go near it. We want to bring the technology to the people and make it as accessible as possible. And then we want to grow together as a community.
How do you plan to market this, or what kind of cost to the customer do you anticipate?
Okay, so we got about 150 customers globally. So the way we work on it is like, there are two models what we work. One is the subscription-based model, where we build a product and they subscribe to it, and we plug into their system, and based on their usage they pay us. And then the other model is the custom-built model. Let's say, for example, for the hospitals, etc., we build a custom environment in virtual reality or augmented reality which depicts their entire office space, and they buy it as a one-timer. That's how we make it.
Anybody else? Anyone online?
Last slide, yeah.
Oh, I'm
No, I'm good, I'm good.
I'm getting ahead.
That's all right. Yeah, so basically this technology should be used to support independence and reduce confusion. When these two things are only sorted, the technology is actually relevant to the people who is using it, right? And it should make it safer, and it should strengthen the confidence of the people what we are working on. And that's what AR and AI is now striving towards making it. Happy to take questions.
Are you talking with any aged care facilities about this?
We have pitched this idea to a few aged care facilities, yes.
They're probably scratching their heads.
See, any technology, see, they talk about hype cycle, right, for any technology, right? So basically, we are at the start of this hype cycle, where the idea is to educate everyone on this usage and how responsibly and ethically we can use this technology, right? Once that education phase is done, then comes the adoption phase. So I would say we are now in the education phase.
Have you looked at, or are you exploring crossover with like video games in terms of like cognitive training or cognitive awareness, things like that?
Yeah, we are. And we have built our own video game where we call it Pharaoh's Pyramid, and where it is like an escape room where you have to solve different kinds of puzzles in each stage to get to a stage, which we have tested it for the children level, where like from age of 8 they can use that game to get understanding of various solving puzzles, get into situations, problem solving, those kind of things. Yes, we use that.
I decided to get brave. Thank you for all that. I actually had an experience just yesterday. I spent quite a few hours not on Facebook, on one of the AIs, what they call large language, on Copilot,
LLM, yeah.
Copilot, which I know is a bit different to the stuff you're talking about here. But I found myself conversing with this jolly thing about my career and my work path and my life path and all that sort of stuff. And it was quite an amazing thing because it was all, I thought, hang on, are you a psychologist or what's going on here? And it's almost sort of surreal, this whole thing, because I know it's just a machine that's putting together sentences that kind of hang together. But it's amazing how deeply it was able to probe, and it always finished its response with another question. And then, what did you do when you went to the new school? You know, all that kind of stuff. And it strikes me that, and maybe you are active in this sort of space of having the AI actually act as a companion for people who are lonely and going back on their lives and actually realize, oh, gee whiz, I did that. You know, that's pretty amazing stuff. Because they love flattering you, of course, which is beautiful. So how are you sort of positioning yourself with that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we build AI companions, say where you can actually get your entire life data into that companion. It understands whatever you're bringing in, it understands what you're feeling based on certain type of words or certain type of sentences what you use, then gives you, say, let's say for example, I'm feeling lonely, right? It understands that I'm feeling lonely and brings out one of the joyous moment where I had a lot of people and I'm talking to them, and takes the whole conversation in a different way so that I don't feel that anymore, but I feel good at the end of the conversation. Yeah. It understands the behavior patterns, it understands the words, and then gives you examples from there, etc. Yeah, I use it sometimes.
You're too young to be using that yet.
Say when I have a bad day at work, I just go, and that's why I said I have built a bot which looks like my wife and which looks like my daughter. When I'm happy, I go to my daughter. When I'm stressed, I go to my wife. Sorry, no offense.
If you've got an AI to nag you, why do you need a wife?
Sometimes something different matters, right?
I have 2 questions.
Yep.
Are you doing anything with music?
Interesting. Not me, but I know a friend who just applied a patent. They are actually democratizing the use of musical notes, etc., using AI. They are.
Say that again.
So certain notes what you use in music, right? Say certain things, etc., where you get the copyright and all those things because this tone belongs to me, those kind of things. They are building a AI which will help you understand when you put that musical tone to that AI, it will say, okay, this person, this sequence is in Beethoven's thing, this is sequence in this thing, etc., which will prevent you from plagiarizing.
And my other question, you mentioned a self-reliant, independent community. What are you doing to build community?
We do a lot. Say you know better. We do a lot in the youth space where we want to transfer this technological knowledge to the next generation. And we do a lot with the education sector where we conduct hackathons, etc., to bring this technology to the next generation.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. With the youth space, is that connected to STEM incubators at all?
Yes.
Yes, so they've spoken here.
Yeah. We work with STEM incubators a lot in conducting these hackathons, etc. We just did one program where we called it Beyond the Boundaries, where we brought about 5 kids from Australia and 5 kids from India it together into one platform where they spoke about sustainability. What does sustainability mean in Australia's context, in Indian context, and they built an app together.
How are you finding the startup scene in Australia and Melbourne? How could it be better?
I don't say so startup is actually a nice space to be because it helps you, say, as my mentor Chris says, try hard, fail fast, but grow fast, right? So that's what he says. And that's one thing what you can get in startups. That's the joy. So this is my 3rd startup, and I'm actually running 3 startups at the same point of time. NextXR, DressAR, and XE Quantum.
XE Quantum was to do with the security and so on?
The quantum cryptography which I spoke to you about, that's XE Quantum. Then we are building a world's first Android-based virtual trial room in DressAR, which is getting patented as we speak. And
well, wait, virtual what?
Virtual trial room. Say, let's say when you're buying clothes, right? We are building a AI and a AR engine where it's actually you stand in front of the camera. It'll basically phone camera, right? You place a phone somewhere and stand in front of it. It'll measure your shoulder size, etc. And let's say I want to purchase in Zara. It'll give me all the collections, what is there for my size, and then you can pick it and choose it. You will actually wear it virtually and see it entirely before you purchase it.
Well, Barry, before you mentioned your mentor Chris, and he was with the City of Casey.
Yeah.
So what should the City of Kingston be doing?
Oh, they are actually doing really good.
Yeah?
Yesterday, me and my co-founder was talking about it, right? So, she was looking at City of Kingston and she said, there's a lot of initiatives what City of Kingston is doing which we can tap on. So City of Kingston is actually doing a lot of good things like the sustainability awards, etc., which is actually good. MelbPC user group. So pretty much, yeah. Thank you.
I now need to introduce somebody who needs no introduction, and that's our President, David Stonier-Gibson.
Yeah, Mick Adams will be back shortly and he will fill in one of the things I've got on my little list here. A few things that have been going on. The podcast studio, which is directly behind me here, is now officially completed. I think we're kind of still waiting, hoping for someone to come along and champion it in terms of technical nous and that sort of thing. Is that about right? But if you haven't had a look, take a peek in there. It looks really cool, and we've got really good microphones and stuff like that as well. So it should be possible to produce fairly, quite decent audio and podcasts in there. Talking of the studio, on was it last Tuesday, Kirsten? Last Wednesday. There was a film crew here from filming a program called Over 50 So What, and a very lively lady who does this program. It gets shown on places like Channel 31 and equivalent stations in other states. So it's all about sort of seniors' activities, and she was here for 3 or 4 hours, I think, with her crew, and a few of us were interviewed. Hopefully it won't look too terrible on television. I didn't get a makeup job, I'm afraid, but never mind. So that was an interesting experience, and I learnt one new terminal technology. Terminology. Sorry. Be real. The be real is the bits you shoot and then pop in between all the other takes when you're doing your editing. So we had be-real shots of the 3D printers and all this kind of caper. So that was an interesting experience. I'm afraid I can't tell you exactly when it's going to be shown. I don't suppose that what's the lady's name again? Carolyn O'Halloran, Carol O'Halloran, yeah. I'm not too sure. I suspect, I got the sense that it might actually be enough material there for 2 or 3 short episodes of her show. And you can actually find her show on YouTube as well. As I said, go and have a look on YouTube. Over 50, So What, it's called. And she's quite a lively lady and a flamboyant dresser. Other things have been going on. One of the big things that happened, I think it was last week, was that a group of our people went to, I think, something called the DDD event, which was an event for computer geeks, basically, I think. They had a table there, a tabletop exhibit, and it actually went very, very well. But I'm going to leave it for Mick Adams, who was one of the 3 who went there, to tell us a bit more about that, or maybe a lot more about that. And I think the end result was quite promising in terms of the amount of interest that was shown, because there's a good match between the kind of geeky people in this event and the sort of people who would be attracted to this club. So that looks like a fairly successful marketing effort going on there. In a slightly different direction, we have a new activity going on in the club about once a fortnight or so, which is a sewing circle. It's taking place out in the lounge, and we've had 3 or 4 or 5 ladies come in. I think we had 1 bloke at one stage, and in the maker room we've now got a cupboard where we've got some sewing machines that are being stored away. And so we're sort of branching out into the crafts area as well as the hardcore makerspace area, which personally I think is really delightful. And I'm personally very interested in activities which cross over between the different methodologies and technologies, or mixing 3D printing with fabrics and all sorts of stuff like that. I'm setting up egg cartons to have a play with papier-mâché at home and mix that in with 3D printing, those sorts of things, which I think could help to make this a very lively makerspace within maybe just a few months. The other thing that was taking place on Wednesday was the Be Connected session, which has been extremely popular now, and in fact the place was jumping on Wednesday. I think they had 5 or 6 what they call them, clients, customers for the Be Connected event. They were almost queuing up down the street. And that's been very successful. Now, I've been told that we just got some publicity through Moorabbin Activity Hub. They have publicised this event in their newsletter or what have you. And it's likely there could be quite a big influx of people next Wednesday into the Be Connected event. There's a little problem there, is that one of the main mentor, Jeff Amor, is not able to be here on next Wednesday. So please, this is the time, if you're one of these people, the staunch members of the club who's got good skills with phones or Windows or laptops or tablets or what have you, next Wednesday is the time to come along and help out with Be Connected, so we don't get overwhelmed. That would be really, really helpful. And finally, before I hand over to Mick, this is just kind of to let you know, with the 3D printing activities in the maker room, I'm in the process. I've just bought a big range of 20 different reels of different printing materials, filament in different colours, from gold through to silk and what have you, and I'm in the process of setting up storage and dry storage for those filaments so they can be well looked after. And just incidental to that, if you bring in your own filament to put in the printer, please, please, please test it that it doesn't snap when you bend it. At least 20 bends without it snapping, because right now I'm the muggins who has to pull the machinery apart to get the broken bits from inside. It's not much fun, really. So just take care of that. The stuff that the club that I have bought for the club and which will be in dry storage should not develop those problems. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, and I'm going to hand over to Mick, who's going to tell you about DDD in detail.
Good evening, all. Yeah, DDD, developer. One of Kirsten's favourite things to do in her spare time is go hang out with all these developers. There was myself and Troy Filer and Paul. Sorry, I've forgotten your surname.
Shipley.
Paul Shipley.
He's waving there.
Yeah. We went in a couple of Saturdays ago into Melbourne Town Hall to represent MelbPC user group at a table at this convention. We had so many people come and see us. So much talking done. We're hoping that that turns into memberships, but I can tell you my voice is starting to come back, and I think Paul had the same problem because it was very noisy in there too, so we're talking quite loudly all day. Hopefully it proves some results, but I didn't actually get to go in to see the seminars, and that's probably not really my thing anyway, but Kirsten, have you got any points to take away from that?
Yeah, well, we interviewed Bron, the president of DDD, here in December, and I felt we've got a few things to learn from them. One is they actually coach their speakers. They run events through the year, and so people that are a bit shy, like we don't have any of those, or wait, we do have a few of those, can like just let themselves out and learn to speak a bit. And that's actually what we sort of desperately need, because it's just David and you, Mick,
It's the regular faces all the time up
Yes.
at the podium when it's not a guest speaker.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind doing personally, but I think having more points of view from different people within our ranks would be good. To do things like I'm doing now, just talking about what's been going on the last few weeks. Anybody can talk about what they've been doing the last few weeks in relation to the club, and it's all interesting stuff. So if you want to talk, if you want to come and do a show and tell, show us what project you're working on or anything like that, it'd be good too.
Especially if you feel like you can coach speakers. So we could do some sort of like seminar type things where people that think they might like to present in the second half of the monthly meeting, members can come and get a bit of coaching, but we actually need a coach before we can do that.
Look,
so,
I don't know what sort of a coach I'd be, but I'm happy to
there you go, Mick.
take people through, and like I
Brilliant.
didn't get any coaching, I just talk a lot anyway, so it's nothing to talk to you guys up here instead of in person, face to face down there. But that's just me. Yeah. I think we'll move on to the next point that I wanted to talk about, because I've got some limited time here. Maker room expansion's going ahead shortly, but we haven't really landed on a design yet, and we'd seek input for those that use the makerspace area to contact either myself or Rob Brown and let us know any thoughts you might have on that development before it actually gets done. Last Wednesday before, we had Carol O'Halloran from Channel 31. She has a program on Channel 31. I think it's also known as C44 or something. Her program's called Over 50 So What? And there were a number of our members, including myself, who were interviewed for that program. We haven't got an airing date yet, but we will keep you posted in the weekly What's On as to when that's being aired. So, and it was just another opportunity to promote our club in an unusual way, which is really cool. I'm not sure if I've spoken to the group about the TARDIS we're building, or we're having built. We have a communications rack, a networking rack in our lounge. My point of view is it's pretty ugly. A lot of you guys think it's pretty cool looking, but I thought putting a facade in front of it would look nice. So we've developed a relationship with our local men's shed. They're going to build us our TARDIS, and it's nearly built actually, to sit in front of that. to give a bit of an aesthetic appeal to the place and potentially photo opportunities for fandoms. So that's coming along soon. So come and check it out when it gets here. That'll be on the What's On Weekly when it comes here and when it's installed. So you can come down and take a photo in front of the TARDIS or just ooh and ah about it. But it's a good relationship with another community group. So that's going to bode well for us in the future. We'll do more projects together too, I think. But speaking of that, one of the parts of that project is to do the signage on the police box, as it's known, which I'm planning on doing in vinyl stickers. And I don't know how to do that yet. Is there anybody in the club who has a Cricut type vinyl cutting machine or something similar that they could help me out with that project? Please either contact the office or myself, Mick, at mic@melbpc.org.au. That'd be lovely if I can get a hand with that. Another thing I need a hand with is hosting this Moorabbin premises and being here with the doors open for people to come in and communicate and collaborate. So our building is open 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, from 9:30 to 4:30. And there's also a group here on Saturdays and Sundays at varying times, from 11 o'clock on Saturdays and usually around 12 o'clock for a couple of hours on Sundays for the CNC project. I come in on Wednesdays a lot to be here for activities and to host, and it's gone down really well, and people started coming in on Wednesdays, and I'd like to build that so that, because not everybody else can come in on a Wednesday, but they do voice an opinion that they'd like to come in and be part of a group doing something. So we need more people to just come in and hang out and be here when people walk in and greet them and say hello and make them feel comfortable. It doesn't cost anything and it doesn't pay anything either, but if you want to get a break and use our internet to do your work from home stuff, that's a good excuse to come here and be here to host as well. Yeah, show and tells, that kind of thing would be a great thing to have on these monthly meetings as well. Another point down on my list, a little bit far down on my list, Owen Harris. He's a fairly recent new member. He's been here for a few months now, and he's taken on a lot of work to help our club, which is really, really great to see, including scanning old copies of PC Update into digital format and that kind of thing. But he's also put his hand up to be the go-to person for organising monthly speakers at these meetings. So, yeah, round of applause.
Thank you, Owen. It's a real privilege. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Owen. Yeah, I'm taking suggestions and ideas about guest speakers that you think might be a good idea for the monthly meetings. So they can be, range from people who are experts in the field to, people who are amateurs, who, like, for example, people at the club who want to talk about personal projects and everything in between, people from different backgrounds that you think might have something interesting to say about technology and making and computing. And I hope to do as good a job as Kirsten has done. And also tell me about, previous speakers that you've enjoyed that you think maybe they could be invited back to do a part 2 or some kind of extension of what they talked about, and what kinds of talks in general you just like in general. And I think we might give out my email address, or you can...
I didn't actually bring my glasses up here, so I can't actually read it.
My email address is harrisowen776@gmail.com, or you can send me a message on Spaces, Harris, I think you find me under that, or you can speak to me at the meetings or at Fong's restaurant afterwards, or
even contact the office and leave a message there.
Yep. Just taking on suggestions about what you think would be a good kind of talk and good speakers that you have in mind.
Thank you, Owen. And I'm sure Kirsten really appreciates you taking some of the burden. Kirsten's done a wonderful job for the last couple of years as secretary and gone well above and beyond. And I'd like to a round of applause for Kirsten's efforts in the past too. And we need more people like Kirsten and Owen and myself to do more things if we want to build this club from what it is to what it can be. And I'm really excited about what we can be, not just for ourselves but for the whole community. And it involves people coming in and putting their 2 cents in. And yeah, bring it on. You can contact me or the office if any sort of ideas of events or activities you want to see happen here at Moorabbin. Let us know. We don't read minds, but we try. So, am I still talking? You still need me up here? Yeah, and I just want to reiterate too David's call for more helpers for Be Connected, because we're going to have a guy away this week, next week. That's one thing, but because we're out doing these expos and stuff, we're getting the name out there more than we ever have, I think. And so we are having more people come in for the Be Connected because it is a really unique thing, and it's even unique to MelbPC, the way we do it. And so it's becoming very, very popular, and we could really use a chop out on those second and fourth Wednesdays. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you to David and to Mick. Our leadership of our club is showing quite a lot of energy, and if the rest of us get behind it, the whole club will get more energetic. In a moment, I'm going to introduce Chris McKean. I can see he's already there online, but Kirsten said I should tell you this story. At a pub that I used to go to regularly on Saturdays, there was a guy who was there every Saturday, and he would come and order 3 beers all at once, and then he would sip them each one in turn until he'd gone through them all. And after a few weeks I said to him, "Why do you do that? Why don't you just order 1 beer and get another one when you've drunk it and so on?" And he says, "Well, I've got 2 brothers and they're both overseas in different countries at the moment. But what we do, we always used to drink together at this pub. So what we do at this particular time, wherever we are, we all drink. They've got 3 glasses and we all drink together." And then one day he came in and he only ordered 2 beers. And I said to him, "Oh, I'm sorry, it looks like one of your brothers might have died." And he said, No. He said, "My brothers are all right. I just decided to give up drinking." Now, Chris, are you ready, willing and able? Chris McKean.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Chris is representing iHelp and wants to talk about a subject that I'm particularly interested in, and I'm sure others are, and that's the continued use of Windows 10 and Outlook 2013. So at 9 o'clock, I'm going to close the meeting formally, and we'll stop the recording, and the meeting can continue informally after that, because people might have questions for to share or problems to share with Chris. So thank you, Chris.
Okay. So why am I talking about Windows 10? So in my role as part of the iHelp team, and also just in my private life, I've come across people who are using Windows 10, and that's not surprising. The adoption of Windows 11 hasn't been as complete as Microsoft would like in any in any way, shape or form. But the thing that concerned me was when I checked or asked people to check what's the status of their updates, so realising that there's been no formal updates since October last year, then the next question is, well, have you enrolled in the Microsoft Extended Security Update Program? And I'm surprised at the frequency of the answer that is, what's that? And then, after I explain that, well, sounds good, how do we do it? And so we'll get to those things. Just if you can tell me how many people in the room are still using Windows 10. Show of hands. I can see one. Can you tell me how many in the room?
Half a dozen in the room.
Half a dozen, okay. Keep your hand up if you haven't heard about ESU and aren't enrolled in an ESU. How many hands do we have now?
Same.
Same, right. Okay, so that was what really was concerning me. So what's the situation? So as of March, and you can get different numbers on this. It's really hard to get, but 30%. I've seen as high as 40%, and the number is roughly 400 billion. PCs globally are still running Windows 10 without the official updates. And some people might think, well, that doesn't matter, the programs still run and it's still working for me. And many people are just using their PCs for basic web browsing and emails. And in fact, that'll be the second topic. Particularly in our age group, it's primarily a communication tool. So I want to talk a bit about emails too. So you can look at what's called critical vulnerability and exploits on Microsoft's website, and there's also an independent cves.org where you can look at them. But I did a search and sought the CVEs that have been known to be active since Windows stopped official support for Windows 10. So Microsoft stops official support. And, we'll talk about what that is in a minute. And there are serious ones. So if you look at the table there, you'll see that there's 2 high and 1 critical. And so these are quite serious exploits. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Maybe most of you wouldn't be in a situation where you'd be exposed to these things. I'm not so sure. They're a bit subtle, some of these, and I think at least one of them is a 0-day. So very serious. Other people will say that their antivirus program's up to date and that protects them. And I think the answer to that is the antivirus program will look for known file types and will also look for known behaviours of malware, but it doesn't look whether the system is being exploited through known loopholes, at least the antiviruses that I'm familiar with. So Microsoft, I think, have been softening. So I think initially they went quite hard and said, look, you just update to Windows 11, and if that means a new machine, you go and buy a new machine. And I think they found that not to be particularly successful. So they initially were offering what are called the ESU, or Extended Security Updates, for $30 US. That around last September, maybe turned into, oh, well, if you have a Microsoft account and you use our backup service, or you use, or if you have some Microsoft reward points, you can have it for free. in fact, the situation now is you only have to have a Microsoft account. That's the latest computer I assisted somebody in enrolling. The only thing you needed to do was sign into a Microsoft account. So, and that's free. And so how do you do it? You just go to your normal Windows settings, update and security, and Windows Update. And there'll be a screen there where it says you're not enrolled or you are enrolled. And if you're not, just click enroll. And it'll tell you if you're eligible, and then you follow the wizard. And it's pretty much a standard process. It's not hard, it's free, and it's a sensible thing to do, and it'll take you a couple of minutes. And if you need some assistance, you can call iHelp and book an online session for somebody to help you. But it's very simple. If you can update your computer, you can definitely do this. You'll see that it actually presents a little screen that it encourages you to use Windows Backup. And anybody who's not familiar with that that's Microsoft's attempt to back up all your files to OneDrive, which I think many people won't appreciate. But you don't have to click on it, and you don't have to do it. So all you have to do is sign in with a Microsoft account. And as I understand it, you don't. If you object to that, you don't even have to stay signed into that. But you probably need to sign in fairly regularly, though, to stay a member of the ESU updates. So that's one solution. That's definitely what I recommend to people I speak to, and I think pretty much universally the people I've spoken to, once that's pointed out to them, have been quite grateful and quite happy to go through that process and know now that their computers are supported with Microsoft security updates. And there was quite a big one in February until October this year, and so it buys some time for you to think about other solutions. There is a second well-known tool, I guess, and it's by a European company. I think it's German, and it's called Zero Patch, and they do a micro patch. And so you download their app, and that runs as a tray application, and that downloads code to run in RAM each time you turn your computer on. So it doesn't alter Microsoft's code, it just runs an additional program, I guess like a watcher. And that's quite easy to do. You can download the program from their website. You can register a free account, but that will give you 0-day patches only. And if you look at their website, they have quite a good table of CVEs as well, and show you the difference between the free 0-day patches and the pro account. And the pro account's €25 a year. If you were going down this route, and I wouldn't recommend that until after next October, it's going to cost you €25 a year. And that will go on for some time. All right, so just summarising that. So don't ignore the updates. There are critical vulnerabilities for Windows 10, and it's causing, and I'm sure this hasn't slipped the notice of people who are malware actors. So really put them in and get it patched. Make your system as secure as reasonably possible, and it doesn't cost you money. It costs you a few minutes. So that's Windows 10. I'm happy to take questions if there are any, or perhaps I'll just go on to Outlook 2013. What's the indication? Do we have any questions yet, or do you want to wait till the end?
No questions in the room at this stage.
Okay, good. Right, so Outlook 2013. I guess email is probably one of the most topical subjects for us on the iHelp team. And quite a lot of our members still use Microsoft Outlook, and that's generally, I think, a reflection of people would use it in their workplace. I certainly did, and I think the last version I probably used was 2019. But people are still using Outlook 2013 at home, and indeed 2007. I saw a few weeks ago. Now, they're finding now that that they've worked reasonably well for many years, and they like the format and they're used to it, and that's okay. But Google and a lot of our members have come across this. Google have been busy implementing what's called OAuth 2, so it's a new way to authenticate your mail application to the Google server, and you need to do it via a web browser, and it results in a much more secure connection for your email application. Microsoft are also rolling that out now, and I understand that it's going to be maybe April or so this year. We'll start to see that as well. So if you see your mail application popping up a window saying enter your password, it may well mean that you need to enter your OAuth authentication factor, which means open your mail in the web browser and then authenticate via the web browser. So which Microsoft applications, so I'm only talking Microsoft today, but there are similar questions perhaps about some of the other ones, support OAuth. And I was a bit surprised. I know Harry might have mentioned this previously, and certainly Harry and I have discussed it. So Microsoft 365, no problems, that's native. Outlook 2024, no problems, that's native support. Outlook 2021, no problems, that's native. Outlook 2019, we've definitely seen people with Outlook 2019 who can't use that on Google Web Services, the MelbPC email. So it looks like from what I can see, some versions will do it, but it's not standard. Outlook 2016, I was really surprised by this table because some retail versions do support it, and Outlook 2013 says it's supported, but you've got to do a registry hack. And so there's a registry hack which I haven't included here. So that really leads me into, well, when you're looking at Outlook, which versions do Microsoft support in terms of functionality and particularly security updates? And you can see 2013 now finally ended in April 2023. Outlook 2016 was ended in October 25. Outlook 2019 also ended in October 2025, so that was a double banger. Outlook 2021 will end this October, and Outlook 2024 is good for 2029. So they're generally 5 years now from when they're introduced. So if you're using Outlook and you're not using Outlook 2021, you need to be thinking about alternatives. So there's a few points. So I'll just go past them for the moment. We can come back to them. But what I wanted to get in quickly was that your mail application is one of the channels, if you like, for malware, and Outlook has had a bit of a patchy history in this regard, and you can see the second one down, which is critical, 8.8, that's a zero-click remote code execution. So previewing the email is sufficient for it to run. So quite serious. And there's a few of those that actually will run without you opening the email, just previewing it is sufficient. So I think running anything other than Outlook 2021 or higher, or Outlook 365, is risky. And there are alternatives. You can run Thunderbird. Thunderbird's kept up to date and it supports OAuth 2, and it's even got extended support versions that will run on older operating systems. Now, I'm not sure if it still runs on Windows 7, and I'm not saying anybody should be using Windows 7, but I'm aware that people do. But at least make sure your mail application is up to date and your browser is up to date. If they're not, you're really sticking your neck out, I would say. Another application that might be an alternative is something called EM Client, and that's a mail client that looks somewhat like Outlook, and the interface is somewhat like Outlook, and that's fully supported, and that's also free for the first 2 accounts, and after that you have to buy it. I think it's about $90 US now, or you can pay a monthly fee. So there's a point there. Most modern exploits target the way Outlook passes HTML or URLs before you even interact with them. So some of the things that Microsoft does for efficiency leads them open. All right, so that's probably the main things I wanted to cover. So I'll just bring you back to what the Outlook Classic support dates are, and probably just to mention again that, and I know Harry's talked about this, Outlook Classic has a little switch appearing, I think, in the top right corner, and I should say I don't use Outlook. I did in my professional life, but I prefer to use Access Mail through a web browser. But the Outlook Classic, there's a switch to change over to New Outlook, and New Outlook is safe, it's updated, and it's part of Windows 10 and part of Windows 11 now, so that's another option. But it does upload your emails to OneDrive, and that may defeat what some people like to do, which is have their emails on their PC. So I think that's should mention, and I had it in my text somewhere, probably back on Windows 10. I'll just mention, yes, here we are. So going back to the Windows 10 thing, if you look at our iHelp page, there is a page of helps for various topics, FAQs, and in particular, there's quite a range of alternatives for what to do about Windows 10 going out of support. So anybody who's thinking about what they want to do, you might find the FAQs a helpful way or helpful framework to think about your choices. Okay, so that's me, and we just ticked past 9 o'clock, so I'm happy to take questions if we've got time.
All right. Well, we make a point of closing the meeting at the time that we advertise, which is now. So we're going to stop the recording, and I'm going to declare the meeting formally closed. But Chris and everybody, just keep going as long as you wish. And Chris, thank you very much for that information. That was pretty valuable, and we could find it essentially on the website. But was something, if it was possible to put that into what you said into PC Update, that would be valuable, but that might be hard work. Okay, but thank you, Chris.
Let's have a look and let's see what we can do.